your kitchen. Today, I'm cooking with Sean. We're going to make linguini with white clam sauce. This is one of my favorite things. It's a good dish. It's a cheap dish. We're not using real clams though, because we're broke. All of this will cost about $30, and you can make a nice dinner for 2 people. You'll need the following. Linguini, crushed red pepper, salt, anchovy paste, olive oil, a dry white wine, 1 lemon, 2 cans of chopped clams. These are snows. You can also get bumblebee, like bumblebee tuna, but bumblebee clams. Parsley, a bunch, shallots, garlic, a wine opener, a can opener, a juicer, tongs, a knife, a pocket knife, a bread knife, a rubber spatula, a cheese grater, 1 entire baguette, a stainless steel pan, a large pot for boiling water. I forget anything? A cup for your wine, Other cups, probably a fork. You might as well start by chopping things up. You're gonna want to peel your shallots. Shallots are like an onion that is lying to you. It's fancy. You also have to cut it differently, or you can cut it the same. I don't like big chunks of onion in my linguini with white clam sauce, so I'll do a cross section. I'll cut it in half, and then I'll cut those halves in half, and then I'll chop. You could also call this quartering. Just have little baby quarters. These are going to cook down into nearly nothing until only their essence remains. Next would be garlic. We've gone over garlic before, but it can't hurt to repeat things. I again did not buy peeled garlic, just a big clove. How much of this will you be using? Well, I'm going to use a lot of it. And I don't know what a lot of it means until I get there, or until I get tired of peeling it. Because there's a lot of waste and it's sticky. So take the bottom of your knife and bop it. Don't get them on the floor. So much papers. Garlic has lots of different sizes of cloves. You want like 3 of these, or if you're making dinner for 2 people, 7 of these. You're gonna mince them. You're gonna mince the shit out of them. It's gonna be fun. Just like I showed you. Bop it several times. Like that. With the palm of your hand. Then you roll your knife through. Then you turn it. Then you roll your knife through. Then you turn it. Then you roll your knife through. And then you'll have what they sell in jars. They won't be little perfect cubes. But who cares? Onto your parsley. I like to cut most of the stems off. There's going to be some stemage in there, but there's nothing you can do about that. If you want to take every petal off of the bunch of garlic, parsley, you can take every leaf off of every stem, but that's going to take a long time, and whoever you're making dinner for is going to get upset. You chop off the stemmies, then you go like this on a flat surface and roll your knife through. I like to do a lever. I put my hand on the blade and I put my other hand on the handle, and I just, in a semicircle motion, and then I turn it, and then I do it again. It helps if you wheel it instead of just smashing it. It's also really good if your knife is very sharp. A dull knife can be a bit more dangerous than a sharp knife if you're an asshole. So you've got your parsley, you want to keep a couple whole leaves for garnish. It's nice. It's at this point, after the things have been chopped, that I like to open the bottle of wine. I always recommend that you don't get cooking wine, because it's not as good as regular wine. But you can still get very cheap regular wine and achieve the desired effect. One of those being just a little buzz. You fit that cork right back in there for later usage. You want that wine chilled. A next step, your lemon. Now you want to zest your lemon. Now remember, you can zest a juiced lemon, but you can't juice a zested lemon. I think you can. It doesn't matter. I'm using a cheese grater, the small holes, because microplanes only have one purpose. And in kitchens, it's nice to have things that serve many purposes, like a spoon or a knife. Tongs are just tongs, but you can do a lot with tongs. You're going to zest your lemon like this. Don't do it high up unless you have a wider lens. It smells zesty. Should look like little lemon hairs, like weed hairs, but lemon. Once you're done with that, cut your lemon in half and juice it into a small bowl. It's barely a bowl. It's almost like a ramekin. It's at this point that I would turn on the oven. Set it to 350 and make sure that there's nothing else in there already, because you forget things. And you don't want to open it to a billow of smoke that wakes everyone up and makes them mad at you. Your bread. I like sourdough baguettes. You might be inclined to make some sort of garlic butter, but that'll be a whole other video. With clam sauce, you just want the bread. And you don't want it too toasty. You want it soft in the middle, crunchy on the outside. So like 4 minutes on 350. Should do it. And you're gonna eat this entire baguette. Oh, fuck. Anchovy paste. I've never really used anchovy paste for this, but I hear it increases the savoriness of the sea. So it's like fish sauce or oyster sauce, but Italian. Isn't it nice how everything crosses over in a weird little way? Once you're getting everything ready to go into your stainless steel pan, you should turn on the water. That way you don't have to wait around, and it won't know that you're watching it. Now, in that pot of water, you're going to put a grip of extra virgin olive oil. And when I say a grip, I mean 2.5 seconds of pouring. You're gonna wait until it's boiling to add your salt, because if you have shitty pots, it'll eat away at the bottom of your pot, and you'll enjoy all of those strange metals with your meal. So now that your things are chopped, you're gonna go over to the stove. Hey. You're gonna want to use a stainless steel pan for this part because they get nice and hot. Stuff also burns to the bottom, and you can use your wine to get that stuff off the bottom because it tastes good. So give your pan a little heat before you introduce oil. A decent amount of oil. Gonna let that go around. So once your pan's nice and hot, you put a bunch of oil in there. About that much oil. When your oil gets nice and loose, introduce your shallot lemon zest mix. Shake it around. Before it's ready to be shaken, use your rubber spatula. Get everything nice and covered. Once those babies are going, it's time for butter. Now, I didn't say you needed butter for this recipe, but you should always have butter. A decent amount of butter. So, kind of swirl that around. So once you've got things to a roiling boil, how much pasta are you gonna make? That's a nice meal for one. That's about right for two. Now when you put it in, give it a spin. That way nothing will stick together and it'll all spread out. Set your timer for 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Feel free to give it a little stir. So once things have started reducing in your pan, and it's getting there, it's really getting there, that's when you, my God, pour in your clams. Be careful of that can lid. It's gonna bite you. Let the canned clams cook while the things reduce. Take a bit of your parsley that you chopped up earlier. Toss it right on in there. You know what's fun to do now too? Add in some more chili flake. Like a gentleman. Now, things are reducing. You want all your liquids to reduce together. You take your lemon that you zested earlier and you juice. Now, in about 4.5 minutes, you're gonna put all these things together. You cook the pasta for 2 minutes less than what it says on the package. That way it's not fully cooked by the time you put it in the pan with your sauce. Now, normally, in like a work environment, I'd have one of those things that you put the pasta in, you dunk it in the boiling water, and then you just take it right out, throw it into your sauce. But I don't have that because I'm at home. I've got a strainer, a weirdly greasy strainer that isn't perfect for this. I'm gonna get it now. You put that strainer in your sink. Not pictured. Looks like our oven is about ready for bread. I'm gonna add a little more salt, because I don't think I did enough. Once your pasta's done boiling, take a cup of that water, or maybe a half a cup, depending on how much sauce you've made. I've made quite a bit of sauce, therefore I will not need that much starchy water. It's never been a common practice of mine to use the pasta water. But you can. You should. If you reduce it too much, you might need to dilute it a bit. Or if you don't make enough. Either way, you want a lot of sauce. You've got an entire baguette to share with a friend while you eat this one pasta dish. Should look like this. Well, the pasta was boiling and I was straining it out, getting ready to reintroduce it to my pan full of sauce. I forgot to hit record again. So you won't be seeing that. I'm not going to do it again. You're just going to have to imagine what it looked like. Think of this. Think of me pouring the pan of sauce into this Tupperware, and then pouring the pasta into the pan, and then pouring the sauce back onto the pasta, and tossing it around, making a fine mess. Once your pasta and your sauce are together in harmony, put however much bread you want in the oven. I put about half, because I'm going to share this with whoever wants it. You don't want to cook that bread. You just want it nice and toasty, like the bread you get at a restaurant in that nice little basket. Looks like we're ready to put all this on a plate. I hope you're ready. I forgot to get Parmesan cheese. Don't forget that, because it ruins everything. Parsley.